Got it. All right. So hopefully you are seeing the PowerPoint if technology is working the way that it's supposed to. I'm Edie Cusack. I'm the Executive Director and founder of the REACH program at the College of Charleston. We are one of 5 programs in South Carolina that serve students that have intellectual and developmental disabilities. Each of the college programs in South Carolina are separate and independent and have their own rules for admissions. They have their own curriculum. But I will mention there is a program at Clemson University. They tend to serve students that have a higher level of need for support. There is a program at Winthrop University called Winthrop Think College. There's a program at the University of South Carolina and a program at Coastal Carolina. The Coastal Carolina, USC, and Clemson programs are all called LIFE programs. And just in case you're not familiar with thinkcollege.net, that is a national clearinghouse for all post-secondary programs for students with intellectual disabilities in the United States. It's thinkcollege.net. Also, if you're just starting your college search, and this is a whole new world to you, Think College does have resources for students and parents, such as questions to ask, what to look for, how to find the best college fit for you. So as you're going through and listening to these different presentations, it's a really good idea to investigate Think College and use their resources. So the REACH program. I will tell you that before I started the REACH program, I was a special education teacher in middle schools and high schools for over 20 years. And I saw directly the impact of students being included and having high expectations put upon them and the correlation that that has to success. And those were sort of the foundational beliefs that I developed when I was putting together the REACH program. So we're going to go through the REACH program briefly today. The REACH program has been internationally recognized for its dedication to inclusion. All of the students in the REACH program are considered College of Charleston students, so they do go through a different admissions process. We are a non-degreed program. We are a certificate program for students that have intellectual or developmental disabilities, which would prohibit them from going to college the traditional way. Some of our students do not have high school degrees. They may have some sort of equivalent certificate. Each state has a different requirement for what a student needs to complete in order to earn a high school diploma. So some of our students do have high school diplomas and some of our students do not, based on the schools or the state that they're coming from. Usually none of our students take the SAT or the ACT, and if they do take that test, they do not score very well on it at all because they need a higher level of support with their academics than is allowed through the ACT or the SAT program. The students that are in our program are students that require support not only in their academics, but also in their social skill development, their independent living, and we offer career development, but every student going to college needs support with career development. The students that are in the REACH program, though they are admitted in a different way, they still have the same access to everything at the College of Charleston that traditional students have access to. So their cafeteria, gym, library, classes, everything. They have the same access that traditional students do. The majority of our students are very concerned about other people knowing that they're in our program or about other students knowing that they have a disability. They really like to blend in. So it's really important that students coming to our program, it's really important for them to know that they have the same equal access that traditional students do. To go over the program briefly for you, there are 4 parts of our program. There's an academic component, social skill development component, independent living, and career development component. I do want to pause for a second and let you know that we do have images of our alumni in these photos from their time at the College of Charleston, but I want you to know that I have their written consent in order to use their pictures. We do not use current students' photos, and when you follow us on social media, you might think to yourself, they never put pictures of their students up, and that is for privacy reasons. We only use our students' images after they've graduated if they give us permission. So now I'm going to talk about each of these areas just a little bit to give you an idea of what life at the College of Charleston is like. The students that are in the REACH program take 2 traditional college courses each semester. They take classes with everybody else. The class sizes at the College of Charleston, they're usually about 25 to 30 students for freshman year. And then as you choose your major, that size changes. Students that choose to go into business or hospitality have bigger size classes, 30 to 40 students. Students that choose majors like women and gender studies or communication may have smaller size classes with 10 to 15 students. But they take 2 classes. The work that they do inside of those classes is modified to meet their individual learning needs. I train professors on how do you modify coursework so that it is appropriately rigorous so that students are truly challenged to learn, but they're challenged within their own ability level. So I always tell students it's going to be hard, but it is doable. That we have high expectations on our students because we know that they can learn. We just don't have the same expectations that exist for traditional students. When students come in their freshman year, they participate in freshman seminar, just like traditional freshman students do. Within freshman seminar, they are able to choose from different learning communities established by the university. So they have about 12 learning communities to choose from. Their sophomore year is sort of their exploratory year, so they can take whatever classes they want to from any school or department across campus. We've had students take classes in every school and department on this campus. Last year, I had to say every school or department except for math, but this year we actually have a student that was interested in taking a math class. Math department was really happy about that because we've been here for 12 years and no one had ever wanted a math class before. So sophomore year, they really are taking what they want to. Any class at the college is open to students in the REACH program. It is not limited because of their involvement in the program. At the end of their sophomore year, they declare an area of concentration, which is like a major. We just use different language because the credential that they're earning is different. But once they declare that area of concentration, then their classes junior and senior year are in that area. So for example, if they choose hospitality and tourism management, they may be taking a variety of classes the first 2 years, but junior and senior year, they're just going to be taking classes in the area of hospitality and tourism management. They take 2 classes each semester the entire time that they're here. In addition to those 2 traditional classes, they will also take 1 REACH support session. It's sort of like a class. It looks like a class when it's on their schedule, but that class is designed specifically for students that are in the REACH program to help them gain the skills necessary so that they can live independently when they graduate. Some examples are personal finance classes. We have a career exploration course, which is looking at the credential that they are earning and how it impacts their qualification for true employment, and helping them understand how to speak to their disability when and if it is necessary throughout their lifetime so that having that disability will not negatively impact their employment during their lifetime. So those are just some examples of the support sessions that they take in addition to traditional courses. Excuse me. All of the students in the REACH program have tutors. When they come in their freshman year in those freshman seminar classes, they are tutored in groups of 3. And after freshman year, they have individual tutors. Our tutors are undergraduate traditional students who are either taking a special education course that we've partnered with, or they are undergraduate students that we've hired to work for us to provide support for the student. The tutors meet with the students 3 times per week. The tutors also meet with the professors, and the tutors also meet with the REACH program. The professors are the expert in the content, and the REACH program is the expert in the learning strategies and learning differences of the students. So we work collaboratively to make sure that the student is getting the support that they need in order to be successful with their academics. During their senior year, the students are a lot more involved with the professors than the tutor because their level of understanding and their ability to advocate for their own educational needs has increased by the time they get to their senior year. So the students have a path for their education. Every class that they take is very meaningful. They're not allowed to take the same class over and over and over again unless they failed it for some reason. But the students in the program do have a high level of rigorous education but that high level of rigor is based on their individualized learning needs. This is one of my favorite quotes from a student that we had in the REACH program. It's sort of bittersweet. He said, "I like it here. People see me as a whole person, not just somebody with a disability." So it's sort of bittersweet because I love that he was so included and he was valued as a person at the college and his contributions to class were valued. I love that. I don't love that he was 21 years old when he said this, and up until that point, he just felt like the only thing that mattered about him was his disability. So I was really excited that there was a transition for him when it came to his learning. The next area of the program is independent living. So students generally love to see the dorms. So I put some pictures up of the dorms. When students come to campus freshman year, they all live within our freshman living learning community. We accept 10 students each year. So that group of 10 freshmen live inside of a large residence hall that holds about 250 students. And then the students that are in that freshman living learning community live in 3 rooms within that larger residence hall with a graduate assistant who's there to provide support as students are learning how to transition to living independently away from their families. Within that living community, we teach them anything that they need to know. So it might be money management and time management, or it might be how to clean a toilet. And sort of wherever they are when it comes to their independent living skills, we will help them. So there's a big transition in their life where they sleep is different, where they eat is different, where they keep their toothbrush is different. So sometimes skills that they've been really good at for years don't generalize to the college environment. So within this freshman living community, we have the opportunity to help them generalize their skills, adjust to life away from home, and build any independent living skills that are necessary. Starting sophomore year, students in the REACH program have the option of living in whatever residence hall that they want to across campus. It's totally up to them. We are starting to see this trend where the seniors in the REACH program are starting to get apartments off campus with friends that they've made during the time that they're in school. It's a trend that I love because I think it's a great transition to living independently after they've graduated from college. We work on independent living skills the entire time that the students are here on campus. So even beyond that freshman learning environment, we continue to teach students things that they're going to need to know in order to graduate. That can include anything, like I said, from cooking to figuring out how do you find an apartment and sign a lease so that you're able to live on your own. Couple of quotes about independent living from some of our students. One of my favorite ones is that before I came here, I didn't realize how much I depended on my family. I still talk to them every day, but I'm responsible for myself. And that's really the goal. We want students, we don't want to tear them apart from their family. And when we ask families, are you ready to let go? We're not trying to end a family. We're just trying to help this student become self-reliant and self-determined and live the life that they would like to live on their own. The next area of the program is social skill development. The social skill development piece of our program has a lot of different facets to it because our goal is not really to entertain students for 4 years, it's to prepare them for life once they've graduated. So we want students to be able to interact with people, not just on a social level so that they have friends, we do want that, but we also want them to be able to maintain relationships at work. With neighbors, we want them to be able to socially integrate into community activities. So there's a lot of education that's under the umbrella of social skill development. A couple of the things that we do under this umbrella is we do have a mentoring program where traditional College of Charleston students volunteer to be mentors to students in the REACH program. All of these relationships are one-on-one. We don't have any REACH activities where all the students in the REACH program get together with their mentors. Actually, all of the students in the REACH program do not even know each other. We really push integration into traditional student activities. The students receive social mentors that's based on their common interests. So the mentors fill out a form, the students in the program fill out a form, and we try to match them best we can based on their common interests. They also receive a fitness mentor, not because you need to be in shape to be in the REACH program, but because there is a connection between physical activity and combating depression and anxiety. And there's also a connection between physical activity and retaining new information. So all of the students do have a fitness mentor. All mentors are assigned during freshman year, and then it's an individualized decision as they go through the program. Generally, by junior year, our students don't need mentors anymore because they have developed circle of friends on their own, which is the goal. But if a student still needs mentors through their junior and senior year, we're happy to do that as well. The students can participate in any club or activity on campus. There's also opportunities for students to engage within the community and to participate in school-sponsored events. We have alternative spring break, for example. We've had students join the college on trips to Cuba, Louisiana, South America. Disney is very popular for those who don't want to do humanitarian work during spring break and just want to have fun. The students are required to join clubs during the first year because we want to make sure that students know how to socialize. We're not trying to strip them of their personalities, but we want to make sure that they have the skills necessary to socialize and that they're not just sitting at home because they don't know what to do. So here's a list of some of the clubs that we have. There's 330 clubs at the College of Charleston, and they all don't fit on a slide. So I thought I'd just give you a taste. I love this picture. Someone sent this to me from one of the College of Charleston basketball games. Because apparently the College of Charleston has an amazing Quidditch team, which isn't even a real thing. It's from Harry Potter. But apparently the College of Charleston has a team and they went to the national championships. But one of the students playing in Quidditch in this particular picture is from the REACH program, and he was a seeker. I don't even know what that is, but apparently he was very good at it. So the students have all of the options. I get asked a lot about Greek life. We do have students participating in fraternities and sororities. That's usually a big question that I get. But basically, that's the social aspect of the program. Career development. All of our students participate in internships. Their freshman year, their first semester, they don't work because moving to college is huge. They're overwhelmed, they're stressed out. So we don't start doing internships until their second semester. Second semester, freshman year, they will do an internship that is on campus. It is 16 weeks long. It's 10 hours a week, and they are paid for the work that they do. This first internships lets us see what their work skills are, what soft skills may need developing, or what sort of supports that they need. And really, if they blow it, they're on campus, so you haven't blown any professional connections. Starting their sophomore year, students will start doing internships that are off campus that are connected to their area of interest. So the classes that they're taking are tied to the internships that they are doing. So like I said, with their classes, sophomore year is that exploratory year. Take classes from wherever you want, try things out. The internships are the same way sophomore year. So you may do something in the fall, like, I don't know, work at a preschool. And then second semester, maybe you'll work in events and transportation. All of the internships are developed around student interest. It's not like we have internship sites that we just cycle our students through. We work with our students to see what exactly it is that they want to do and make sure that they have exposure to that field during their sophomore year when they're making that decision about area of concentration. Once they've decided their area of concentration, all of their internships are going to be in that field as well as their classes. All of the internships that they are placed in are internships that they would qualify for with the credential that they have. So for example, if somebody's very interested in becoming a teacher, when they graduate from the REACH program, they're not going to have the credential necessary to be a licensed teacher. So we really have to look into the field of education and dissect their interest and see what it is that they want to do, and to make sure that we have them in a realistic preparatory educational experience so that they're qualified when they graduate. 85% of our students are out of state. So we're also always looking back at the state that they're coming from to make sure that they would be qualified. Just to continue to use that education example, in the state of South Carolina, you cannot be a teaching assistant unless you have an associate's degree. Our students don't have that credential, so teaching assistant job in South Carolina would not be a good internship site for somebody who's a South Carolina resident. But in the state of Georgia, you do not need an associate's degree. You don't need any college at all to be a teaching assistant. So there's no credential that they're looking for. So someone who's going to be living in Georgia, it would be a good internship site for. So everything always has to make sense to get towards that goal of living an independent life of their choosing once they've graduated. This guy, for example, in the picture, he wanted to be a doctor. So over the 4 years that he was here, we had to look at what is your interest, what is your skill level, what credential are you going to be earning from the college, and how are we going to marry your credential, your qualifications, your skill set, and your desire to work in the medical field into one particular position where you are qualified to work. He actually graduated 6 years ago. He works in a sterile processing lab in Florida. He just bought a condo and he's getting married in September. That was a lot of work from showing up saying, I want to be a doctor. But it's the important stuff that we do so that he is now living an independent, self-determined life in Florida. His family's from Connecticut. He loves it. He doesn't live in the same state as his family. So the application process for the REACH program, to all the parents out there, I'm really sorry. We asked for a lot of information, but we're trying to make sure that the students are a good fit for what we offer. It's really, really hard to figure out who people are based on pieces of paper, which is why we ask for so much of it, because we're trying to put together a picture of a human being. All of the information that's on this slide is also on our website. We ask that you take a look at everything, and if you have questions about any of that documentation, to just sort of reach out to us. A lot of private schools ask us about the IEP, and we say if you've ever had an IEP, send it to us, even if it's from kindergarten, because that will show a qualification as a student with a disability. If you're from a private school, just send us whatever documentation your private school uses. You can either download the application and mail it in, or you can fill out the application online. And we do this, our application process is a rolling admission. It opened on September 1st this year. So we are in the process of receiving applications as we go through the month. We will review on the 1st, and we email the applicant and the parent and say, this is what we're still missing from your application, or we'll say your application is complete and will be reviewed within 30 days. At that point, we decide if it might not be a good fit and we'll deny the applicant, or if we think it's a good fit, then we do an in-person interview. If we do an in-person interview, we will let them know our decision within 30 days. We try to keep everything to 30 days because it's just easy to remember. For finances, the treasurer's office is where the price of the REACH program is listed. Our university requires that all programs leave all of the tuition and billing all on the treasurer's website. So we have it linked on our website, but you are going to have to go to the treasurer's office. It is traditional College of Charleston tuition plus a program fee, and that's all written out there. There are some options for financial support. We've had maybe 8 students from your area, and some were able to receive some assistance from Voc Rehab and some were not. So I don't really know what the rules are, but they seem to be different for different areas within the state. The REACH program is a certified transition program, so we are eligible to receive students that are using Pell Grants. There are no student loans through the federal government for programs such as this, but there are private loans that are available. We do have a program, we usually have a REACH program scholarship fund, but COVID is sort of getting in the way of our fundraising. So we don't really have any funds in there right now, but we will be working on that soon. We do accept funds from College Saving Program, I think they're 529 accounts, and VA benefits can also be used for the REACH program. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Follow us on our social media for updates. And I think that's it. I'm hoping I'm within my time frame, but I'm happy to take any questions that may have gone into the chat.
Great. Thank you so much, Edie. That was wonderful. One of the questions in the chat is, do you admit 10 every year, or are there 10 total, forever in it?
Right. We accept 10 per year. So there's a total of 40 students in the program.
Okay. Excellent. Any other questions? Have you ever had a student participate in the REACH program who also earned a degree?
That is one of the most common questions that we get. And I think it's because of the population of students that we work with, because our students have a mild disability. And so it's a lot of being on the fence. And we have not had a student earn a degree. While going to the REACH program, we have not had students that transitioned into going to college the traditional way from the REACH program. We've had 3 students that were very much interested in going back to school and getting their degree. I always encourage students to take a class at a community college over the summer to sort of get a feel for it. If at any time we think a student would be better off in a degree track, we would say that. But we haven't had it happen yet. The 3 that were very interested in getting their degree after they graduated ended up, getting full-time jobs and are living the life that they want. So they haven't chosen to go back and do that at this time. But I never say never.
Great. Okay. Another question, does a student's legal relationship with their parent or guardian in reference to guardianship, power of attorney, that type of thing, does that impact or disqualify them as an applicant?
If a student has been declared incompetent and there's a guardianship over that student, we do not accept those students. The basis of our program is self-determination. And if students have guardianship and have been declared incompetent, they don't have the legal right to make their own decisions. So we would not accept those students.
Okay, very good. All right, any other questions? Okay, Edie, would you be willing to share your PowerPoint with me?
Yeah, I'm happy to. Just know that when I send it to you, I will remove all of the pictures because we don't
Okay.
share students' pictures. So it's just going to be a lot of words.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm happy to share it with you.
That's great. That's great. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. You did a great presentation. We appreciate it. And I will be reaching out for sure and see if we can come down there sometime and see your program in real life.
I hope so. Hopefully we're all back to seeing each other in person soon. And thank you for giving me the time today. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much. It's been great. Okay. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.